Welcome to an Achieving Science video. This video is going to look at Group 1, the alkali metals. Let us begin then. The alkali metals. Well, if we look at the periodic table contains many groups. The first group, Group 1, is where we will find the alkali metals. Here we will find lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. All of these metals have what we refer to as a low density. Let's have a look at the structure of all of these atoms, and let's have a look at how the size of the atom changes as we move down the group. If we first of all take lithium, within lithium there are 3 electrons, and if we draw its atomic structure, it will look like this. Next, if we take sodium, sodium contains 11 electrons, and if we draw sodium, it will look like this. Next, we have potassium. Potassium contains 19 electrons, and therefore if we draw potassium, it will look like this. Now, as you move down the group, you can see that the size of the atom increases. But how does this affect then the reactivity of the element? Well, let's have a look at a few reactions. First of all, let's have a look at these elements reacting with water. So if we take a pool of water, a dish of water, and we place a piece of the metal into the dish of water, we can observe what happens to these reactions. Well, all of them begin to fizz across the surface of the water. This is because they produce hydrogen gas. They all form hydroxides that dissolve in water to make the water appear alkaline. So if we add some universal indicator solution, we can observe that there is a change in colour. This is where they get their name from, the alkali metals. So in summary, this can be summarised using a word equation, where we have a metal plus water produces a metal hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. We can then use this summary to produce our own individual equations. So for example, sodium plus water. Well, what would be produced if sodium reacted with water? Well, we would form a metal hydroxide, and in this case the metal hydroxide would be called sodium hydroxide, and we would produce hydrogen gas. So when we go back to all of the reactivities, we find that actually potassium is the most reactive because it reacts more violently with the water than the other metals do, and therefore as we move down the group, the reactivity increases. Now, if we remember that as we move down the group, the atoms get bigger. Therefore, the ability of the nucleus to attract and hold on to that outer electron becomes increasingly harder and more difficult. Therefore, the electron is more easily lost, and therefore the element becomes more reactive. Now let's have a look at a reaction between these alkali metals and a non-metal. We've already seen that group 1 metals form 1+ ions. This is because they lose an electron. They can therefore now react with non-metals to form ionic compounds. The compounds that are formed are white. They are white solids. These white solids are able to dissolve in water and form colourless solutions. Let's give an example. So if lithium reacts with oxygen, sodium reacts with chlorine. In these two reactions, what are the products? While lithium reacting with oxygen would produce lithium oxide. Sodium reacting with chlorine would produce sodium chloride.